All right, joining me now on this episode of Locally Sourced EPs, Mr. Ruben Ramirez. Sir, thank you for joining me. You are probably one of the legends, if not the legend, in El Paso. Former photographer of El Paso Times, also a member of Los Photogs, might I add. I know I had the guys on one of the first episodes, but had to have you on by yourself for a whole lot of reasons, man, because you're doing great work now. If you don't mind, talk a little about some of your career and what you've done here in El Paso.
So I started my journalism career after I got discharged from the Marine Corps back in 1976. I came back home, and I was born and raised here. And so I started working with the Herald Post in 1976. My first position there was I was a copy boy, basically just a glorified gopher, and just the chance to get my foot in the door. And I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I just wanted to do something while I wasn't at school. I started college at the El Paso Community College way back when it was up at the Logan Heights campus up on Dyer. For those that are old enough to remember what that was, that I was there. Then after I went there for a couple of years, I went to UTEP, and even then I still wasn't sure like what I wanted to do, but I got my foot in the door with the Herald Post, and the way things worked out, they did away with my position as a copy boy, and the editor at that time was Mr. Lee, Robert Lee, and I never knew that we would have so many little things kind of like in common, because when he promoted me to a reporter one, when they did away with my copy boy position, he told me that the way he started off in journalism was as a copy boy. Mm-hmm. So when he told me that, I thought, wow, okay, that's cool. That means that there's something here for me. And so when I became a reporter one, I just kind of did rewrites off press releases and stuff like that. And then I was given the opportunity to go and try to review or to review concerts. I love music. And so that was kind of like one thing for me. And so Butch Freeman, who was the editor, the city editor then, I asked him, hey, can I get a chance to go and cover a concert or something? He goes, yeah, why don't you go give it a try? So I did, and I covered a couple of concerts and stuff, and after covering a couple, I really kind of enjoyed it. But the only thing that I thought that was missing was there was no images or any photos of the groups that, I was reviewing.
Right.
So I was getting ready to go and review a concert a couple of days down the line at the old Liberty Hall. And Edgar Winter was going to be performing. And I asked Butch, I said, hey, Butch, why can't you send a photographer to this concert on Friday? And so he goes, we will. I said, all right, great. So I was all pumped up and excited and ready to go. And Friday morning came around, and I showed up to do my regular job. And then I said, hey, don't forget we have a concert tonight. He goes, great. Why don't you get with Bill Thompson, who was the chief photographer then, and talk to him about tonight? And I said, all right, great. So I did. When I went back there, Bill Thompson hands me a camera and a couple rolls of film, and he goes, hey, go at it. And I said, I've never picked up a camera in my life, So he gave me about a 30-minute crash course and stuff, and he gave me, he loaded up a roll of film for me in the camera. I took off. I thought I remembered how he told me how to load the camera and stuff. Well, lo and behold, I didn't remember. So I shot one roll of film out of the two that he gave me, and I came back. Luckily enough, don't ask me how, I came up with a couple of images. One of them ran with my review the next day, and that night when Jerry Littman, who was one of the staff photographers on staff, processed my film and everything, he said, why don't you come on back and let me show you what you got? I said, all right, great. So we went through my film, and he goes, all right, well, we're going to pick this one because this one's in focus. And I said, all right, cool. So he printed it up, and, that magic happens. You throw that paper into the chemicals and stuff, and, you just see it coming up, beforehand, when it was on paper and stuff. And I tell you what, when I saw that image coming up and appearing on that piece of paper, I was like, you know what? This is it. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And, 40-something years later, thank God, I was able to do what I was given a chance to do. I mean, because really as a writer, I thought I did okay, but really, like I tell you, once I saw that photo coming up, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and there was no mistake in that.
That's awesome, man. Do you have a favorite story or possibly a favorite photo that's like yours, like that always comes to mind, or when someone asks, "What's your favorite story?" or "What's your favorite photo you ever taken?" Do you have one of those?
Well, to say you have a favorite photo as a journalist, a photojournalist, I mean, I did it for 43 years. I mean, I had the luck, and I was blessed to be able to go and cover 23 Super Bowls, several Final Fours. I covered Don Haskins when he got inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame. Also, along with Nolan Richardson, I went and covered his induction. I covered a couple of NBA All-Star games. I've covered 41, 42 Sun Bowls. I covered Tiger Woods when he played here at the golf tournament that the Sun Bowl had back then. I've just covered so much. I mean, I've covered three popes, I think it is, at 5 different locations. And I covered the Mexico City earthquake. There's just so much. But being a Cowboy fan, the big thing for me was, when I was at the Herald Post, I was able, in those 23 Super Bowls, I was able to cover all 3 of the Cowboy Super Bowls in the 90s.
Nice.
Covered Smith, Troy Aikman, and Michael Irvin and Tony Tolbert and all those guys that were involved on those teams and stuff. And so to me, I mean, sports, more than anything else, I love sports. I covered fires and accidents and press conferences and City Hall and all that other stuff because it comes with the territory. The way everything's set up here, there's not a photog that can just go in and say, okay, you know what, I'm just going to shoot nothing but sports.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. And so when you work in newspapers, but, I always really, I think I excelled in shooting sports, and that's what I love. And so if I had to go and say that, pick out anything, I guess it would be covering the Cowboys at the 3 Super Bowls, because that was pretty awesome.
Nice. I think something like that for me would probably be the same thing, especially if it was my team. That's so awesome, man. I mean, you're such an awesome photographer, man. I'm not just saying because you're on. I mean, you yourself have helped me in my photography career. I mean, I think you lent me my first 24-70 lens for my Canon when I had like a Canon Rebel, and you let me borrow it. So it's kind of your fault. I'm kind of into photography too. So thank you.
Well, something good came out of it. Then
yeah,
that's all,
man.
that's all good.
But it's the same thing with you. Like, it's so awesome because I started as an intern at Channel 4 back in the day, and just kind of evolved from there. And it's kind of the same thing. Just kind of fell in love with it, man, and just really love the creative side in it. So it's just really so awesome. And like I said, I thank you because you kind of helped me put me on the path of my career.
Thank you. I've one of the things that I've always tried to do is to help anybody that I can. Like I said before, I was given a chance to go from a copy boy to a reporter to something that I just fell totally in love with. And, that was one of the things that I always told myself is that whenever somebody would ask me whatever, I would try and give them the best explanation and try to help them either hands-on or, one-on-one or whatever. And that's why, like, when I was both at the Herald Post and at the Times, a lot of photojournalism teachers, some of the high schools will call me and say, hey, can you come and speak to my class? And I would, and try to give them a little bit of my knowledge and just pass along the wisdom, and try and encourage them. When I'd be out on Friday nights and we'd be covering football games, I always made it a habit to pick out one kid that I knew was a journalism student on the sideline and say, hey, here's my 300. Use it for a while. I'm pretty much done, here. And to see the expression on those kids' faces is it's priceless. And the thing is that, again, you're able to pass along a little bit of what you love, and hopefully they love it just as much. So, like I say, try to share the wealth and just pass it along.
Yeah, that's so awesome, man. Again, that's so great that you're able to do something like that for the kids and just pass the knowledge on. But and now that you're retired, I know you've gotten your hands into some other stuff going on, which is really important work you're doing for El Paso, for the city, especially during this pandemic. And talk a little bit about what you're into now, what you're doing, and how people can help and volunteer and things like that.
Okay, cool. Well, I retired now. It's been about a year and a half ago. I just, I was given the opportunity at the times to leave at a good time. And so I chose to leave along with a couple of other staffers that left. We all retired at the same time. But, so when I retired, I was asked to be a contributor to the El Paso Herald Post. I want to make sure that I mention this. Asa Costa, the originator of Los Photogs, and he's out there with the HP, and he asked me if I would come over and shoot with them, and I just jumped at the chance, just to say that I worked at the Herald Post, worked at the El Paso Times, and worked at the Herald Post, even though it's an online edition of it. It's just kind of like taking me for full circle, which is pretty awesome. I feel like one of those football players that start on this team, go to this team, and end up retiring on this team, and that's what happened.
Nice.
So I do that, and Chris Babcock gave me a chance and gave me the ability to go and do that, with Ace and with Johnny, and between the three of us, we try to get things done there. It still keeps me out in the community. I still get to touch bases with Jorge Salgado and Mark Lambie and, all the other photogs that are out there and all the news people and stuff. And, there's a lot of good friends out there that are doing some really awesome work right now. And one of the things that, because I am retired, I had made myself a promise that, once I was out of the journalism circle, that I wanted to give back to my community somehow.
Right.
And so one day I was coming home from the grocery store, and I passed by a pantry down on Campbell and Montana, and there was this massive line of cars going down Montana Street back all the way up to Brown Street. So I pulled into the pantry, and there was a gentleman there that was in charge of the pantry, and I said, "Hey," I said, "what are you guys doing?" "Oh, well, we're the pantry, and we help El Pasoans Fighting Hunger distribute food to people that are in need." And I went, "Wow, this is amazing, And I mean, look at the line." And he goes, "Oh, this is nothing. You should see it on Saturdays, and it's just it's amazing." So I said, "Hey," I said, "do you mind if I take some pictures and just kind of just show what you guys are doing and let the community know that this is available for them?" He goes, "Oh, that would be great." So I ran back to my car. I grabbed my equipment. I shot a million photos because it was amazing at what they do, and the number of people in need. I mean, I was shocked. I was just shocked, so I came back home and, I edited all my stuff, and I called Chris and I said, "Hey, Chris, I've got a photo gallery for you on this pantry, and this is what they do." And he goes, "Wow." He goes, "Well, send it to me and let's get it up." So we put it up and stuff, and it took off. It took off. Well, I wasn't satisfied with just doing that. So I logged into El Pasoans Fighting Hunger, and I volunteered. And so I volunteered, and I showed up at the main food bank, which is down off of Pan American down in the Lower Valley. Mm-hmm. And I walked in, and the woman that was in charge then, I don't think she's there anymore. I think she left. She went to someplace else. Miranda, and I can't remember her last name, but she was like, "Hey, thanks for coming, blah, blah, blah." And so I told her, "Hey, if you go to this website, you'll see a gallery of photos for the pantry that you guys have downtown." And she's like, "Oh, I'm going to do that." So anyway, so that was my first day volunteering down at the food bank. And that was 30 plus days ago. Mm-hmm. And when I say days, I'm not talking about consecutive days. I'm talking, because I volunteer three times a week. Mm-hmm. Right now, the way it started off, like I said, for me, is I volunteered at the food bank, and I would go down there Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then I found out that they were having the food distribution at Sunland Park Mall when it was closed. So I said, hey, you know, I live right here by UTEP. Sunland Park is right there. It's a no-brainer just to go right there and help distribute food. So I started there. We stayed there until Sunland Park was ready to open again. And so then they switched it up to up in Vinton at, oh my God, Bill Childress Elementary, I think it's what it's called. Mm-hmm. And so I've been going there on Fridays, on Mondays and Fridays. And then on Wednesdays, I go to the food bank, the original food bank. So all in all, I've gone 30 days. Tomorrow will be 31 because I'll be back out in Vinton again tomorrow. And I tell you what, I mean, to see the people that go out there on the days that I'm out there out in Vinton, it takes your breath away. I mean, you know, we've given food out. The highest that we've ever given out that I've been involved in is 987 families. Wow. And we're talking people that start lining up at 7 o'clock in the morning for a food bank that starts to let traffic through at 9:30.
Wow.
Until 2 o'clock. And it's amazing. I you know, when I go out there and stuff, I'm speechless because you just really see the need for the help in our community. And there's all types of people that go out there, you know, and the one thing I've learned is don't judge. Don't judge.
Yeah. That's amazing. I mean, just hearing that and just knowing that so many people are in need and they're getting the help that they need. It just gives you chills, man. And just like knowing that you're one of the few out there helping out, that's just great.
Well, and let me just tell you this. The National Guard was out there the entire time that I was out there. This past Monday was the first Monday that there was no National Guard troops anywhere in the city. And you talk about feeling the effect of losing those guys. I mean, it was felt. Last Friday, actually last Friday was the first time they weren't there. I'm sorry. But anyway, we had 32 stations set up with 16 volunteers. So what we ended up doing was just running one line because we didn't have enough volunteers to fill in the second line, which would have been the other 16 stations.
Right.
So, I mean, it was crazy. The guy that runs it, Jimmy, he got on the phone and, you know, called the food bank and asked them to send out volunteers, and they brought out some of the shift workers that come, and they came out there and they helped us. And so I just got to say that if you have the ability to volunteer to do this, yeah. I'm just going to say it. I'm begging you to go out there and do it because there's a need. There's a big need, especially now that, you know, everything's closing back down again, mm-hmm. and they're scaling back. There's going to be more people that are going to be at home that aren't at work anymore and aren't going to be able to, like, you know, have the money to really scatter it that far. And, you know, the one thing that El Pasoans Fighting Hunger is that, you know, their motto is nobody goes to sleep hungry. And I think that's just amazing, you know. And so, like I say, if you have the chance and you can do the volunteering, go to the website, sign up, and there's food banks on every side of town, and it's a great thing and it's a good cause. That's
awesome. I will put the information if you want to volunteer in the information section on the bottom, right. Description of the video. Are they also still looking for? Are they accepting donations, cash donations and food donations as well?
Yeah, they are. All of the donations, whether it be monetary or food, they go to the main food bank down on Pan American Street. Okay. You know, just a plug for our organization. I'm the president of the 19th Rifle Company USMCR Foundation, we made a donation to the food bank a couple of weeks back, $2,000. It was the day before the locomotive and the Chihuahuas went out there and gave $1 million. So when I was sitting there reading that they gave $1 million after our $2,000, I was like, sure, you couldn't have waited a couple of days, yeah. But like I said, I mean, they'll take your money and they'll take your food, and like I said before, it goes to a worthy cause.
That's so awesome, Ruben. Thank you so much for talking with me today. I mean, this is something I'm trying to do, just, you know, because of the pandemic, because of things are going on, just trying to keep everything that's local in El Paso going and just make people aware of everything that's available here in El Paso, especially something as important as the food bank. And then, I mean, they couldn't do stuff without volunteers like you. So thank you for doing that for them. And thank you for serving our country, for being with the Marines, and just,
well, thank you. Thank you.
And then again, thank you for helping me out when I needed help, and you helped me out that time.
Well, you know, like I said before, I mean, it's all about giving back, and it's, you know, I hope I've been able to help a couple of people along the way. And I just want to say that, you know, I've watched some of your previous videos and stuff like that, and you're doing an awesome job. I mean, you know, you do an awesome job, you know, just with what you do on your normal job. So, you know, let me just give you a big shout out too for doing these things. It's awesome. I'm not just saying that because it sounds nice, but it's an honor for you to have chosen me to do this with you. You know, I'm sure that by now people are tired of seeing my face on the screen and stuff.
No way.
You know, and it was kind of weird because I always enjoyed being behind the camera, and it's kind of weird being in front of it now. But you know, like I said, if I can get the word out, you know, to help, I don't mind it. So again, thank you so much, and thank you for what you're doing, and keep doing what you're doing, Ray.
No, thanks, Ruben. I really appreciate it, man. Anything else you want to say or add before we end here?
No, I just want to tell everybody to, you know, keep an eye out for you and your work that you do, and you know, all the photogs that are out there. I know you guys are doing a great job, and, you know, under a stressful situation right now. Yeah. As always, you know, when I talk to them on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, blah, 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 whatever, I just want to say again and reiterate, stay safe, stay healthy, wear your mask, social distance, be smart. Don't try to be a hero. I miss all of you guys. I wish you guys all the best. And I close by letting you know that no matter where you are, you're always in my prayers. God bless every one of you guys.
Ruben, thank you so much for joining us today, man. Have a good night. God bless your family. And if you never need anything, man, you know where to find me.
I know where you are, brother. God bless you too and your family as well.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.